ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ ಚೆನ್ನೈ Hyderabad Gujarat Express Brevis Station Netaji Bhavan.
Welcome back to Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live. CSK came out to bat like the kings we have known them to be. 230 runs put on in their 20 overs. The GT bowlers were looking for the answers, but they found none because they started off very well. Ayush Matre gave them the start that they wanted, and then it was ended very well by the baby AB, Devon Brevis, who was all guns blazing. I've got Joyda and Murali Kartik with me. You said 240 in the com box, but they got to 230. Incredible from CSK today.
Yeah, outstanding. 117 in the first 10 and then another 113. To a degree, you have to say that they got slowed down by Ravindra Jadeja because 21 of 18 at that stage, maybe he could have done slightly better. But the names you mentioned, Devon Brevis, absolutely outstanding. Ayush Matre at the top, literally an absolute blitzkrieg from him. Good hand by Urvil Patel. Devon Conway played a good hand as well. So all in all, they'll be pretty happy again. But it's all about pride. It's all about the reputation. And as we said, a tad too late.
It's not a tad, it's very late, Joyda, but at least CSK fans will be happy. Today is their last outing and they come out and bat the way they would have liked them to bat from the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's only one reason for it. It is that, CSK has a fantastic and huge fan base. And today the RCB fan base was also supporting them. So you have the good wishes of two teams with them because all RCB want is for, Gujarat to lose this match. But absolutely sensational performance. And I think, again, you see the three young kids who've come in.
Yes.
I mean, Urvil is not young in that case, but he's young in terms of, experience. But these three, Brevis, Matre and Urvil have made such a difference, just such a difference. And that's the problem. When you see this, you keep looking back and thinking, had these guys started the season, how things might have been very different.
Yes.
Had they had the fearlessness that they have now, things might have been very different for them.
Yeah, but you can understand, Jada, because sometimes what has worked for you, you always say, why try and do something if it ain't broken? And Chennai has always gone with that old adage that, okay, we've got experience, this is what is going to take us through. But maybe now it is staring at your face or staring in your face that it is slightly maybe outdated. You need to look for fresh faces, fresh ideas, fresh legs, and guys who can do it for you. Yes, I'm not saying never ever will you discount experience and what it brings. But again, it's as you rightly said in the pre-show, it's a beautiful blend of it, and that's what you want. You want the experienced guys there, the ones who are not far by their sell-by date, and also guys like all these young kids and young players who have actually injected a lot of energy into that team.
You're talking about these youngsters who have injected this energy. It almost feels like a different brand of cricket, Joyda. We'll get to Brevis, but if you talk about Urvil and Matre, who's impressed you more today?
I think Matre always impresses me because Matre is the one who's setting it up to start with. And I think the way he attacked, I mean, Arshad Khan, he took him down for 28 runs in that second over. Immediately the tempo of the match changes. And after that, see, once you have a big, score like that in a single over up front, then the bowling team is always in the defensive.
Right.
And after that, they've never quite got their rhythm. And I think it's fantastic. So somebody who attacks up front is a very important asset for teams nowadays. And in his heyday, say, somebody like a Prithvi Shaw used to do it,
And technically also he looks very solid.
Oh, yeah. 15 sixes today, 5 from Devon Brevis at the end. And see, that's the other thing that they've got now with these kids coming in. You've got a Matre at the top, and you've got a Brevis who comes in at 4 or 5 and can absolutely cause mayhem. So that gives you somebody there in the middle as well. And I think that balance is what is so fantastic for you. So you've got a young kid who's a great opener. You've got a young kid who's a great finisher.
Kartik, I was talking to Gill about it the other day. We were watching a CSK game together and he is mighty impressed with Matre because he said his bat swing, his technique, it's very solid. And I said, you see him becoming an all-format player, which is a different topic. But it's just that he looks very compact, like you were saying, Joyda, very compact and very solid.
Yeah, very organized. And I think that's the word that comes to my mind from the first time you saw him. Everything is correct, compact about his technique. And then all the aggression is just an extension of it. It's not just a wild swing or a wild slog. I think it's all based around good technique. So yeah, it is going to stand him in good stead going forward. And more importantly, he is fearless at the moment. And I use the word fearless because at the end of the day, when you play shots, especially in the power play, you need to be committed into playing those shots. There are no half measures there, no half-heartedness in the shots you play. And even if you get out, it's fine, but at least you know that you've committed to it, and that's what he does. And it's good. It's good, really. Sometimes when maybe things do happen for a reason. Changes do happen for a reason. And again, that's why I said, maybe you're slightly outdated. Maybe the team was in a bit of a time warp. Maybe this is the season where you say, okay, things didn't go well for us. We're not pointing fingers at anybody. Time to recalibrate, time to go back to the drawing board. It was a realization year for us.
And that realization we've seen in Brevis as well, Joyda, because every time Brevis has played, we've seen what CSK has done. I think the first game they played against SRH, Brevis got 42 runs, he got out, and then that team crumbled for, I think, some 70 odd runs. Again, Brevis in the last game, he scored big. Today we are seeing it again, 57 of 23, and just his bat swing, he knows when to up the tempo. He plays very smartly. It's just not constant aggression. He plays very smart cricket.
Absolutely. And I think this is the new generation of finishers. I mean, for me, the two outstanding international batters that I've seen this year have been, for me, Tristan Stubbs and Brevis. At the positions they come in, the roles that they've been performing and consistently is very, very difficult to do in the positions they bat in. And I think both of them have been outstanding.
And Tim David as well.
Tim David as well, but I mean, Tim David is a more senior player. But definitely, of course, Tim David before his injury, hopefully he'll be better.
And also the top order most often hasn't worked for CSK, and Brevis has put his hand up and he's kind of just always been there for CSK. Do you see him becoming that fulcrum in the next season?
Has to be. I think this is exactly what you want. These are the kind of players you want to base your team around. It's good to have those players, isn't it? Again, never ever will anyone say from the cricketing world that don't have experience. Experienced hands are important, but he's experienced enough now. He's been around the circuit for a while. He's touted as the next big thing. And again, he has learned from his own mistakes because he's got that strength. He's got brute power. You have to meet him once. One of the softest kids when he speaks, but with the bat in his hand and when the way he throws and the way he throws himself around, he's a strong boy. So again, this is what you want. And I think it's great that CSK have identified these players. And you're absolutely right. He has to be the center or the cornerstone around whom the teams will be based.
Also, every team needs somebody who bats really well in that middle period, because that's the most difficult period for teams, because once the fielding restrictions go off, spinners come in. And take a look at that. That tells you that, strike rate of 7 to 15. I mean, Puran strikes it everywhere fantastically. But then look at the names, Rutherford, Sherfane, Rutherford, Prabsimran. And Prabsimran, you cannot compare Prabsimran because Prabsimran normally opens. So by that time, he's already set. He's ready to then, he's seeing the ball like a football by then. But Brevis comes in then and bats like that. And that is actually much tougher. So if you see all those guys, except for Rutherford, all the guys bat ahead of Brevis normally. And I think it's a great ability.
Kartik, I think it's also because the way he uses his feet against spin, because with CSK we've seen they've not been the best against spin, but someone like a Brevis uses his feet very well to spin.
Yeah, he's worked on that. Again, if people had seen Brevis before, there was a certain method, the way he went about spin, but over the last 3 or 4 years, again, that's why I use the word, he has learned from his previous mistakes. Always a good player of seam bowling and anything pace on. He's had to work, and I think he's gone back to people who have helped him. And I think it's a great sign, isn't it? That's what you want from players. It's not knowing your strengths alone. It's working around your weakness. And look at the thing with Devon Brevis is that he knows he has the strength. So you have to base your game around it. Sometimes you also have to give the benefit of doubt to the bowler that if I'm only trying to attack in one way, he's always got me covered. But having gone back, having worked on his game against spin, and we have seen quite a few players do that. They were always a one-trick pony against spin. So spinners can capitalize on that. But then suddenly, as you said, if you start using your field, you start accessing different areas of the ground, then the spinner is saying, oh, I need to come up with something new. So really credit to Devon Brevis to come into a team which is floundering and lift those sagging spirits. He's done a great job.
But Joyda, there's GT who have a few problems that they need to address because the second game, consecutive
465 runs in 40
games.
overs given by what we have described as the best bowling attack
Who's been cruising along all this
The
time.
best bowling attack, 7 bowlers they play with.
Yes.
Look at that, and it makes for very, very sorry reading.
Except for
This
Prasidh.
is, of course, that one name of Prasidh Krishna who stands out, but the concern being that we know Rabada is not going to be there, which is why Koitse was probably played today, so he'll have to continue. We spoke about Rashid Kartik. He's just not finding his line and length, bowling too full. Joyda, where do they go? Because they really need to get their act together.
Yeah, that's the point. Look, this is the best bowling attack they have. And, you know, Arshad Khan has done it for them. Rashid has done it in the past. Okay, Rashid this season has had just one very, very decent match. Otherwise, he hasn't had too many great matches. But that's what I'm saying. This is a bowling attack that, other than Prasidh Krishna, if the rest don't get, their worry will not be. They might even be able to chase this. I mean, it's not an easy chase, but they might be able to chase this. But the question about conceding 230 runs will still remain. And, you know, they've not been taking, their catches. Prasidh Krishna has had 6 catches dropped off him this season. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I think Rashid has had 6 catches dropped off his
You saw Shah Rukh Khan dropping an absolute, goober there.
So, you know, things aren't going right for him, and then the fielders are dropping the catches. We spoke about, you kept pointing out to me, saying, see, this is what we were talking about. He was bowling too full. He's a master. He knows what he needs to do, but it's just not happening. So what does one do then?
Yeah, that's why I use the word take a break. Break does you
Or do
a
you
world
practice
of
harder?
good, because sometimes you go back to the drawing board. Sometimes your body needs it. Sometimes you are overexposed, and then you allow your own head to settle down. You grapple with it for a long time. When you're playing, you're grappling with it. You're trying to be the best because you've been the best. You're always trying to put the best version of yourself. Sometimes taking that break, going back and just saying, okay, my body isn't healing, it needs to heal. Then the fact that I've been scarred with all these, no bowler likes to be hit.
Of course.
And it is a scar. You can say that, oh, it's a format. Yes, one day it's a format. You have one off day. You cannot have continuous off days. And then it's a big scar. It's a big scar. So you want that to heal. You want him to go back. And that's why I use the word, take a break, get back stronger, get back fitter, get back to bowling at your best. We've seen Sunil Narine, just think of it. Sunil Narine was the best bowler. Suddenly he was called for chucking, which means he doesn't have an injury, but he has to go back to the drawing board.
Correct.
He has to unlearn and relearn completely a new action. And it takes a while for you to settle down. And the years he came, he was not at his best. But again, he's used to it now. He knows this is the way I can go about it. So a bit of a break, take it easy, chill, come back to your best.
Well, Joyda, CSK, of course, need to restrict GT to 121 if they want to go to that number 9.
They will try because
121?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy, but the whole point is that, I mean, not finishing 10th is something that, I think they'll try. They'll definitely try. It's going to be very difficult for them, but I mean, a lot of fans in yellow will be saying that, let's get them below 120.
Yes. But the GT fans right now are under pressure because they know they want these 2 points. They want to go to the top of that table. We've seen what the top 3 have done. So clearly they have to come out firing today.
100%. They would be saying that, oh, please, our top 3. You can say we got DC without losing a wicket. Today is the day when we need this 3 to finish. And maybe Joss Butler would himself be gagging to go on a high because he's not available post-tomorrow. So he would want to leave his team in a good space as well. And again, 235 in the previous game or 224, it is going to dent them. But right now, you have to park it aside, come back and think that we have got the top 2 in front of us. Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, all of them need to fire.
Can we look at that table again? Because it tells me one thing about what's going to happen, which is, take a look at it. See, the middle 2 teams are on 17. Okay, so unless there's rain, which seems unlikely, those 2, Punjab and Bangalore, are not going to impact the outcomes. Basically, it's good. Now, Mumbai can reach 18. Okay.
Yes.
But Mumbai's run rate is so much superior. Okay, that Gujarat cannot play loose and have a hope that they're going to still qualify, come to the top 2 by run rate.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that tell you? That tells you one very important thing. That today, they're going to look at it and say, either we get 230, it doesn't matter if we get out for 120 also. You get what I mean? So the point is, coming close to the score does not matter at all to them. So I think what you're going to see is an all-out effort. If they lose wickets, they lose wickets. I think they'll keep hitting.
Yes.
Because they just know that either I get 230 or I'm not in the top 2. You know, in that situation?
Well, CSK have started off a little differently because Ravindra Jadeja is opening the bowling. So they are going to try everything as well and try and restrict GT to 121. That's what they want to do.
This is going to be a fun chase.
It's going to be an exciting chase, but our predictions were all over the place because of what CSK did.
And what
Let's
GT
go
bowled
there.
as well.
And what GT bowled as well. So, Joyda, you go first.
I am going to go high.
If there's no choice, we have to go high.
So does GT, 71.
Yeah, I was thinking around the same lines. So I'll go 75.
71, 75, I will go 77.
Okay.
A little higher.
Let's hope.
Because, I mean, I just want someone to win now. If you get off the mark, we have another game to follow. So let's just get off the mark and hope somebody wins. Write in, tell us what your prediction will be as well. I know that lots of fans from different teams are rooting for different teams. So we know there's lots to play for. We'll give you all the updates, the 10-over point and the Cricbuzz Combox. Thank you so much for watching. Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ ಚೆನ್ನೈ Hyderabad Gujarat Express Brevis Station Netaji Obot.